course, the big game is coming up. That is the London Derby after all. West Ham should be considered definitely a big club again. Like that is the time I'm sure Gatesy is kind of
Yeah.
proud now, and then he is definitely waiting for that moment where West Ham are genuine top four contenders
Ooh,
consistently. You
last
know,
three games have put a bit of a dent in that one. To be fair, two defeats and a draw.
Sorry, Gatesy, but I think City was a little bit unfair because you're actually playing on a skating rink. So I
Yeah,
think,
yeah, that
yeah,
that one I kind of put to one side because I'm not being
yeah.
funny. Away at City, they're on a different level to us. It's as simple as that. If I'm being completely honest about it, I know we beat Liverpool, but Liverpool are on a different level to us. Man United are on a different. I'm talking in terms of like their financial firepower, their muscle. The top six money clubs are just in a different realm. The Wolves game, very disappointing. I can't lie. The Brighton game, we're the home team and we had 34% possession and had a 72% pass accuracy. One fed into the other. We were giving the ball away. We was literally handing them possession. Now, we managed to go 1-0 up after 5 minutes and we held on. Obviously, there was the goal that was scored on I think it was the 49th minute that was VAR'd and it was, ruled out correctly. I've got no problem. It is, if you know the offside law, it was a correct call. No problem with that. But then you get to the 89th minute and you're thinking, oh, we're going to hold on for all 3 points here. This, we've played badly, admittedly, but we're going to get 3 points. Tariq Lamptey, on the other hand, had other ideas. He went down the right flank, crosses it in, and it was a
ex-Chelsea.
Yeah. And Neil Maupay, improvised brilliantly. If I was a complete neutral, I'd have looked at that goal and gone, brilliant sort of like run to the byline by the wing back. Great cross into the box, and what a finish. Unfortunately, I wasn't a neutral. I was at the ground watching it, and I'm like, oh, goodness, here we go again. Yeah, it is what it is. Do I expect us to win tomorrow? No, I don't. But it would be a typical West Ham thing for us to lose to Wolves, lose to City, draw against Brighton and play badly, and then beat the champions of Europe. It would be such a West Ham thing to do.
We are Charity FC, like that's our trademark anyway. So I can perfectly understand that. But yeah, of course, big up to Eugene and of course the Asian Sensational FC also to join us. Again, people joining, do smash that like button and do check out the description for Adidev and Gatesy's channels. Definitely great channels to subscribe. But having said that, West Ham, well, they've kind of lost, I think, 2 over the last 4 London derbies in EPL. As many that they had lost in the previous 10. So that means that they don't lose many London derbies, so to speak. And on the other hand, I think they have won 3 of the last 6 home matches against Chelsea. Again, as many that they had done in 14. So they don't actually win as many home games versus Chelsea. And that's something that you would only expect. Let's be honest. Chelsea has to be the favorites.
Yeah.
But Chelsea, on the other hand, I think we've won our last 7 away London derbies, and that's probably a record in English football, top 4 tiers of English football as in ever. So something's got to give. I don't want to jinx it, but yeah, these all the things, and of course we have had a double over West Ham last year, but season before that under Lampard, West Ham did the double over us. So it's all pointing towards a draw if you just go by the probability. But yeah, again,
I'd be happy with a point. Let me tell you, I would take a point right here, right now.
We won't be happy with the point. Trust me, we are just giving away points. Yeah.
Listen,
just giving
I'll
away
say
points
now,
left, right, and centre.
I made Chelsea favourites for the Premier League before a ball had been kicked. I looked at their squad. I look at what Tuchel had done when he walked through the door. He'd obviously strengthened up. He obviously come in. He's turned things around from Lampard, and obviously he got you the Champions League. And he's obviously strengthened by spending 100 million quid on Lukaku. And I just look at, and there's been a few people that have said to me, not West Ham fans, not Chelsea fans. We actually had a Man City fan on one of our opposition views before the Man City game, and he turned around, Ray, and said that he thought that City on their day were the best team, but he did concede that he thinks that the problem that City are going to have is that they're going to have peaks and troughs, whereas he reckons Chelsea are just going to be more consistent throughout a 38 game league season. I make Chelsea favourites to be the Premier League winners at the end of the season. However, I just keep my fingers crossed that we can get something tomorrow.
See, that's the thing, right? Time and again, West Ham. I know Gatesy is saying that he's just kind of keeping cards close to his chest. But even Arsenal kind of missed that chance. So I think West Ham, I don't know, it's kind of going that way. But let's hope that we get the win. But coming to Chelsea, of course, Adidev, listening to Tuchel's presser again, another refreshing presser that he had. But we have injuries aplenty. Kante is still out. Kovacic, as in two players who've sorely been missed in the last couple of home games, especially. And of course, we have Chilwell, long-term injury, and Chalobah, hamstring, I believe. So they are out. So let me share my screen with you because, again, the starting 11 that played against Watford, we all know that was a disappointing, kind of start. But towards the second half, I think we played pretty well in the second half. So this is what I'm going for. But tell me about you, Adidev. What do you think? And of course, people in the chat do pitch in as well.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the lineup. To be very honest, I'm also actually looking at this and I'm thinking that this is how we are going to definitely line up. Christensen isn't injured, is he? But Christensen just played, so I don't think so.
Yeah, the contract talks again, right? I thought that maybe he was brought in because of the fact that Silva played too many games.
Yeah,
that was my assumption.
I think I think this is the perfect lineup for us. I don't think that we have too many options, to be very honest. Probably let's say Pulisic comes up right in the front, but I don't think so there is any other option that we have. So a quality option to probably pitch against West Ham. So very straightforward. I'm very worried about our left flank. Very, very worried about our left flank because if you look at the heat map of Watford, or if you look at the passing directions of Watford against us, they just kept on focusing on that left flank. They just kept on hounding Alonso. And even if you look at that Liverpool game that we drew in the second half, Liverpool were just hounding us on that left flank as well. So everybody has realized that whenever Alonso plays, our left is very weak, our left is very exposed, and I think that is going to be the plan for West Ham as well. It is very clear. I think you really don't need to actually think about that. It is very clear. So I really feel that is we're going to be very much exposed there because I think Benrahma is going to drift outside. I think Declan will also probably drift outside. I think there are a lot of things.
I'm not 100% convinced that Benrahma will play. Did you see his performance the other night?
Yeah, but
I think against Alonso, even an average player would feel like a world-class player. I have to be absolutely frank with you. So to be absolutely frank with you, so I feel that is exactly why I feel a Benrahma would still spin Alonso in tops. So I feel that is going to be a pretty clear indication in our game, and that is where you need to be worried about. Right, I'm definitely not worried about at all. Reece James back is an absolute like a very, very happy moment for me because again we are getting the goals from our wing backs. So Reece James back is like it's just a boon, to be honest. And Jorginho back is also a boon.
Bang on again. People in the chat, if you disagree with Adidev or what do you think the starting 11 would be, what do you think about Saul? Do comment. Coming to West Ham, West Ham, I believe Ogbonna is still out, if I'm not wrong. Gatesy.
Ogbonna's done for the season. We're not going to see him. It's an ACL injury. It's a big one. Yeah, we're not going to see Ogbonna again this season, and there's a very real possibility we might not see him again in a claret and blue shirt, which would be really sad if that happens. The one good thing is that Gold and Sullivan have turned around and said, because his contract's actually up in the summer, and they have said they will extend it for another year come what may. But yeah, I mean, he's 33, 34. Yeah, I mean, just looking at your team there.
I think Zuma, talking about Ogbonna, of course, but Zuma, of course, moving from Chelsea again. People who kind of know me and have been following the channel know that I am a huge Zuma fan. And a lot of times, what he did for us in 2015, League Cup final, and those kind of moments are not really celebrated as much. So for me, I think you've got a class defender. What is your report on him?
Yeah, listen, I think he's been quality. The only problem I've got is that tomorrow, just a sort of a slight correction there, tomorrow it will be Zuma will be on the left of the pairing because Dawson, for whatever reason, don't ask me why, he just doesn't play as the left centre-back. So Zuma will be deployed as the left centre-back. Now, Personally, I think that the loss of Ogbonna will be huge this season because he was a naturally left-footed, left-sided centre-back. And now you've got a situation where you've got a right-footed centre-back that's not comfortable playing on the left. So he looked really uncomfortable there against Wolves. I don't think he looked particularly comfortable there against Brighton the other night. I got a funny feeling that Vladimir Coufal might play at right back ahead of Ben Johnson. I think Cresswell, if he's fit, will come back because I think his delivery is so important for our set pieces. But it depends. Obviously, he took that whack again on the post against Man City. If he doesn't make it, then Ben Johnson will play at left back. But I think
he's got to play. Come on, even 50% Cresswell remembers that goal that he scored against us, and
Yeah, no, I'd want Cresswell in, but obviously if he doesn't make it, then it is what it is. I knew he'd pipe up with that. I knew he'd pipe up. Just in case anybody wants to know the story, basically, there was I was on his channel one time, and I said something about. Because I think Chris said something about sort of like Dawson not having any pace, and I said it made a throwaway comment like neither was Bobby Moore, and he's never let me live it down. And I said immediately, I'm not saying that Bobby Moore and Craig Dawson are comparable in a quality sense. I'm just saying that in terms of lack of pace. That was it. That was the only similarity they ever had, and he's never ever let me forget it. Oh,
you just broke YouTube with that statement.
True. But again, Michael has a question. Does Gilsey think West Ham can win the Europa League this season? They've been very impressive. Like again, this team on paper looks great, I must say. But what is your call?
It depends largely on the teams that come down from the Champions League, because I mean, you could have Barcelona coming down. I think Dortmund can come down. There's an awful lot of quality teams that could drop in to the Europa League. So, can we win it? In answer to the question, yes. But a lot of it, and also it's how are we going to cope with injuries, loss of form? Antonio's form has dropped off a cliff. Benrahma's form has dropped off a cliff. Fornals' form has dropped off a cliff in the last couple of games. So we need them to sort of like start to show a little bit of recovery. Looking at that 11, it's close to what I've picked for our pre-match, which I'll be doing in about half an hour on Forged. But I suspect it will be Fabianski in goal, back four from left to right, Cresswell, Zuma, Dawson and Coufal. The double pivot will be Rice the captain and Souček. I then think the three in front of them, in my opinion, I think Pablo Fornals will get a stay of execution and he'll be on the left. And I think the reason he will be there is because of the work rate that he puts in, and he'll be able to give Cresswell a little bit of cover and allow Cresswell to get down that left flank and play some deliveries in. I think Benrahma will drop out. I think it will be Manuel Lanzini coming in. And I think Bowen on the right. And Michail Antonio will play up top. And the only reason that he's going to play up top is because we've got nobody else. We've got no other striker. Crazy situation.
Again, when Antonio doesn't score, I think he's not scored for about 3-4 games now. And that's clear for West Ham that, how much Antonio is kind of dependent on. But I think you have to depend on him. We also depend on a striker, but of course not as much. But a lot of teams do, and that's a fact. For example, if Liverpool don't have Salah, and that's a fact. You say you have backup, but no one can replace Antonio because what he brings is totally different, right?
He is unique. I mean, he's a guy that when you sort of stop and think about it, he's 31 now, and he's been a recognised number 9 for 18 months of his career. Before that, he was a winger. He had a spell playing at right back as well, right wing back, whatever. So he's fairly new on the job. He's still learning. I think he would be a nightmare to play against when he was fit and firing, because I don't think he knows what he's going to do next. So quite how a defender is going to react to him is anybody's guess. There's no other striker like him in the Premier League, but his form at the moment is not in a great place at the minute. And we need him to recover, because, as I say, we don't have anyone that we could put in as the number 9 that could do anywhere close to a similar job. Hopefully David Moyes can address that in the January transfer window, but then I said that in the summer transfer window just gone. So
True. Like again, I think Asian Sensational FC says that Yarmolenko is better than Bowen. Yeah, as in against Chelsea, we know Rudiger kind of was not in his form when Yarmolenko scored against us. So maybe he's referring to that. Like I think the 3-2 win that you got under Lampard during the lockdown. But Yarmolenko again, he's been excellent for his country, but for West Ham, for some reason, he's not been that. Like,
sometimes the pieces of the jigsaw just don't fit. I mean, don't forget he wasn't signed by David Moyes; he was signed by Manuel Pellegrini. And when he plays for the Ukraine are set up to get the very best out of Andrei Yarmolenko. Whereas when Andrei Yarmolenko plays for West Ham, he's just another player. So it's not like we're working to sort of get the best out of him. He's just another player sort of thing. So like I say, it's sometimes the pieces of the jigsaw just don't fit no matter how hard you try.
Yes, that's rightly put. And again, Chelsea perspective dreads Antonio. Like everyone dreads him. Like when Antonio plays, trust me. Like when he's on form. I remember the days when Victor Moses was there and him and Victor Moses were on the wings bombing, and now Antonio what has become and what Victor Moses become. Like again, that's just the player quality that you kind of tend to kind of stick to. But again, great conversation, and we've had so much talk about West Ham, Chelsea. Let's get to the game now. Like what is really the key battle in terms of the what could happen in the pitch. Let's predict. Gatesy, and what do you think is going to be the scoreline, and what's the difference maker for you?
Well, Lukaku's going to score. He always scores against us. Is it 11 goals in 15 games? I think. So I'm expecting him to score against us. It doesn't matter what shirt he's worn in his time, whether it's been a Chelsea shirt, a West Brom shirt, an Everton shirt, a Manchester United shirt. He sees us and he goes, yeah, I'm scoring today. So I'm not expecting us to keep a clean sheet. And my head says we're going to get beat. And I have no problem with that so long as there is a performance that is one that sort of like I can look at as a fan and go, do you know what? We battled. We took the champions of Europe deep and we forced them to sort of really dig deep. And they managed to get their noses in front over 90 minutes. And I've got no problem with that. If it's a performance like we put out against Wolves, if it's a performance like we put out against Brighton now, I might have a little bit of an issue there. So if I have to give a score prediction, I'm probably going to say with regret, forgive me, fellow West Ham fans, but I think it's going to be West Ham 1, Chelsea 2.
Oh wow! As in, again, I would love that. That is true, and you don't want to kind of jinx Chelsea. That's what I would say. But yeah, then again, thanks a lot. I know, Gatesy, you have to go if I'm not wrong. Great
Much
having you.
it.
I hope we have these conversations, of course, for the return leg as well, and of course, a lot of other games. Like we all know, Gatesy loves football.
We'll get you on Forged at some point or another then, Ankit. Yeah, as I say, it's just a lot of things going on at the minute. It's trying to sort of get everything organised. It's really awkward, but we'll get you on Forged at some point before too long, mate.
Great to hear that. And of course, people in the chat by now, if you have not kind of loved the conversation, just take a look at Gatesy's channel. As in, the link is below. Definitely go and subscribe. I can assure you that you won't be disappointed. And same about Almighty Blues FC and Aditya's channel as well. But yes, Gatesy, I think we have to say bye and wish you all the best for the game. Of course, not for the win, but yeah, then let's hope for a good game. That's
what
I
look after yourselves, boys. Thanks for having me.
Yes, good luck, mate. Cheers.
Take care.
Okay, so people in the chat, do get in your predictions. West Ham, Chelsea. Aditya, quickly your prediction. What do you think?
So I've given my views about this game. I think the only problem I find in this game for us is the left flank, and if we cover that left flank as well, and I think I really feel Antonio is going to be a little bit isolated up front, because if you're playing with that back three, I'm thinking of Thiago Silva in there, and Thiago Silva himself can probably take up Antonio as well. He's just a monster in that particular scene. So I really feel that is going to happen, and I do feel this is going to be a comfortable win for us in that zone. So I feel that the wide centre backs will probably cover for Marcos Alonso's defensive deficiencies, because they know that Antonio is going to be taken care of by Thiago Silva. So I feel when that's going to happen, I feel that it will be fairly comfortable for us. So I think it's going to be a 2-0 win.
Yeah, fair call. Let's hope that's right. Again, late winner show, great channel, but I think Rishabh, he disagrees. Fair enough. Of course, let's see who gets the prediction right.